Okay, so I don't know that we have anyone really new on here, but you guys know me mostly. So my name's Natalie, and I've been in the business for almost 4 years. May 31st will be my 4-year anniversary, you guys. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Andrea. Andrea started, when was that? June?
Yeah.
Sometime in June. And, she's been working her butt off. She went Emerald in February, was it already? No, March.
It was at the end of March.
That's right. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even keep up to date with this year. It's like flying by. So she went Emerald in March, and I just wanted to get her on the Zoom with you guys because I think so many times to hear stuff from other people, have them share their story, what it really took for them to get where they are is refreshing and sometimes eye-opening because we need that different perspective. So Andrea I can't say enough about my team in general. I love you guys. I feel like I have the best team out there. It makes me emotional when I think about it, but and full of rock stars, and Andrea is one of them, and she just kicks butt, no excuses. She's even pushed me in my business to be a little more red sometimes. Sometimes she tells it like it is. But she's just amazing. So Andrea, would you just start off and tell us a little bit about I kind of introduced it, but when you started and how that came about, maybe just a little bit about your first 30 days in the business, because I know it's good to hear all those sides of things too.
Okay. So I joined in June. It was actually June 25th. I saw Natalie actually post about the $10 to join. And so I messaged her and asked her if it was really $10 to join because I was a little unsure. And then she said it was. So I was like, okay, well, I think I can afford that. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up, and got signed up that day. I think actually the first 30 days were actually the worst. I hated it. Like, I joined and I started talking to family and stuff, and that was about it. And I posted every day, but nobody really wanted to order. Nobody wanted to join. I mean, I've seen a lot of people, who started and quit. And so it was coming up, actually, I think it was like 2 days before my 30-day mark, and I only had 2 customers. So then I messaged Natalie, and because I was really, really discouraged, and talked to her and told her I was thinking about quitting, and everything like that was frustrating me, and just reached out to her because I didn't know what to do from there. And then she kind of just, talked to me. And at that time, I think it was actually the Fast Start bonus was extended. So she told me about that and told me that she believed in me. And that actually got me excited, that on top of the Fast Start bonus being extended. So I decided to stick it out. And yeah, that was the worst 30 days.
But I think it's good to share that because, like with new teammates that you've helped get started or whatever, like, it's not easy to start anything brand new. Like, it can be overwhelming. It's like all this new lingo. Like, people get started, they're like, "What is BV? Is that a disease? Like, what?" We don't know anything when we get started. We're brand new, and depending on your personality, like for me, it was kind of overwhelming. For some people, it's not. But it's good to hear those sides of things because here's somebody, Andrea I remember I was like, she's going to give up. She's going to give up. And I saw so much potential in her. And I was like, please don't give up. Please. You don't see what I see yet, but it's there. And And I think that it's important to see that too, because sometimes when we have teammates that are in that first, before they've gotten over the I quit line, I guess is what we call it. We have to be that person that can say like, hey, I believe in you. You can do this, whatever. And so she's proof of that. So Andrea, so you started in June and you're working and trucking along and learning the ropes and signing people. And then conference happened and they announced the Emerald bonus. They announced all these, promotions, whatever, new product. So what was it at that point that like kind of triggered? Because you hadn't even reached executive yet, right? As of
I
like,
actually got executive the first day of conference. I think it was like when you first got there, like that it actually showed, because I got it at the last minute and it finally showed when you were there in the morning.
that's crazy. So, okay, so you were working towards executive and then like, I know for me, like when I started this business, I felt like I was like, if I can make $100, I'm gonna be golden because maybe we can put gas in the car, whatever. So at what point did it kind of like flip for you where you were like, maybe I can do this and make it into more than just like, a side thing?
I think it was right, probably that next day. Like at first, like I didn't believe that I actually promoted. It took me long to get there. So like the next day it finally hit me that I promoted, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty close to Ruby, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go for that since I promoted.
And
And
this,
yeah.
and just so you know, guys, like, and this is what I love about Andrea too, because she can be like she can literally be close, or she can be like, yeah, I'm like 3,000 volume away. I'm pretty close. And she just guns for it. And, I think that that's what you kind of need some of that in this business, because so many times, maybe we're like 400 volume away from our promotion or 800 volume away. And we're like, that's not going to work. I'll put it off until next month. I'll push for it then. Maybe I'll get a little closer. If it doesn't happen, I'll push for it the next month. But what did we always say? Like, success loves speed in this business. So if you don't push yourself past what seems doable, you never really like get that momentum going. And Andrea is like the pinnacle of momentum. So you were like, okay, I'm gonna go for Ruby. So you went now. Okay, correct me. Okay, so you were executive when March started, right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so and your March was extremely busy. So and something just kind of clicked and you decided, did you decide you were going to push for Ruby that month, or was it like I'm going to go straight to Emerald?
It was actually Ruby. I
Okay.
didn't even know until like the middle of March. That was like when I decided I was going Emerald.
That's right. Okay. So I remember now. Okay. So you were like, I think you filled your Ruby chart or something and you were like, I need this much volume. And then you were like, I need this many people for Emerald and I'm going to try to shoot to fill that by like middle of March. And she ended up filling her chart for Emerald by like day 6 of the month, I think it was. Something crazy like that. So then she's like, I'm going to push for Emerald. I'm like, okay. So let's talk about, what did your business look like before pushing for those promotions? Like, what did you do differently when you decided to push for promotions? Like, did you think you were working really hard before that and you weren't really producing results and then you started shifting?
Yeah. I think I hadn't really been reaching out to people. I think it was more of like posting, and even like before hosted post, mainly all I did was post. And I talked to a few people here and there, but I didn't really get far. It took me like 5 months to get my first distributor and then another 2 months to promote. But like the customers that I had, I started reaching out to them because I know some of them I had talked to about joining, and they kept telling me like they couldn't afford it, or just, other excuses to why they couldn't. So like some of them were even ordering packages that were more, that costed more than it did to join. So I just reached out to them and told them about the business. And I know one girl specifically who she said like she like really wanted to join but couldn't afford it, and she changed her order from like the cleanse to, I think it was a fit 30 at the time. So I messaged her and asked her what she had changed her order to, and she told me the fit 30. And I was like, I told her, I said, I have a better deal for you. I said, I know we've been talking and you said you're interested in joining. I said, your package that you changed to for your next order actually costs more than it does to join. I said, you could join for $100 instead of spending, I don't even know, it's like 170. So right then and there, like she decided like she's going to join. And I did that with a lot of my customers, especially the ones who were ordering packages. And then I started reaching out more as well to other people.
Okay. And so you're looking at your chart and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to fill all these people. I mean, Andrea and I joke about it because, and I feel like this was very similar to what my journey with the business looked like too. Everybody's is different, but, she was like, I went from 2 teammates and one of them was my, spouse, to like a team of almost 50 or somewhere around 50 people or something like that. And she's like, how did that happen? And that, you guys, that happened in like basically like 30 days, really, like a little over 30 days. And so for you, Andrea, because you're like, okay, I need to promote. I'm working on filling my chart, but I also need volume. So I know from like my side of things, I noticed that you were posting more, and maybe Facebook algorithm kind of got ignored a little bit because we're like, oh, don't post too much. But you were definitely posting more, like more opportunity posts too, right? Like more posts like that, more lifestyle type posts, and definitely posting a lot of product posts too, right? To bring that volume in on top of host to post.
Yeah, lots of result pictures and posts like that.
Yes. And I like, I know a lot of people say like, don't post these, but people need to see results. Like as long as you're filtering in those other regular posts, I think it's totally fine. What about growing your network?
For my, I have like the daily 6 list, I add at least 30 a day, but I don't include the people that I add like in host to post, because I try to message people for host to post like early in the morning to make sure I get that in. So I don't include those people I add from there. I make sure I add at least 30 people a day, aside from the people I'm adding from host to post.
And so most of your business so far has come from Facebook, right?
Yeah. I did sign 2 distributors and a customer from Instagram, but I feel like I get a little more connected on Facebook, and that like I didn't really even use Instagram before I joined. So I kind of just stuck with Facebook, especially through March, since that's where I had the most friends and the more leads and everything.
Your momentum was kind of already building on Facebook, I guess. So you were still building on Instagram, but really pushing on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Okay, so let's talk about, I know we're kind of like jumping around, but what is it about like for you? Okay, let's do your 6 list first. So you add 30 people a day.
Yeah. Okay. I actually have that here somewhere.
And you guys, okay, when we say 6 list, like she is, I can't, like, she makes me speechless when I start talking about it, because she was messaging me every single day. Andrea and I probably talked more than she talked to her own family. I don't know. We were like always communicating what's going on, how much volume do you need? What can I do to help? helping answer questions she had. Because also her team was building really fast. So if you are wanting to, something to think about is like, if you're wanting to do this, you're wanting to grow your paycheck to $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, you're going to start building a team really quickly. And one, you have the support from your other teammates, but two, you're going to learn really quickly, which is actually a really, really amazing thing for your leadership ability. Hold on one second. Okay. It just grows you like crazy. So we were talking every single day that she was on top of it. Like she was probably up earlier than I was, messaging people. Post to post was her biggest game changer, right? I mean, most of your customers came from there.
Yeah, it was definitely host to post.
And she was just nonstop and the other thing was with host to post, you were doing mostly like cleanse, like single products, and then you would try to, did you try to upsell them or like a lot of big orders?
I did a few times with the cleanse. I did get I think a couple people that decided on a package instead of the cleanse, but most people did want the cleanse. So I kind of just stuck with host to post for weight loss packages is basically what I did.
Okay, so you did a lot of weight loss package host to post.
Yeah, I don't think I sold anything under 36 volume.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I remember it was like we were at the deadline and she's like, okay, I'm doing more host to post. I'm doing more host to post. And there's like, this guy wants to lose this much weight and this guy wants to lose this much weight and this person wants to lose this much weight. And she was just going and going and going and then signing people. I mean, there were days that you signed off host to post, like 3 customers or more, maybe more some days. I'm not sure. So host to post was a game changer. And I think that that's important to note because so many times we're like, how is all this going to fall into place? Like our network's only so big. We feel like we've run out of people to talk to, maybe, I don't know. But when you're doing host to post, you're tapping into so many other networks, like thousands and thousands of other people. And some of those people just stay as leads, but she got tons of dates for, starting host to post in the beginning of the month. She had dates rolling out like all month long for host to post, and then they just overflowed into the next month. So going back, what is your 6 list? What does it look like daily? Because I know for you, consistency is like the biggest thing. You're so consistent with working your business. And let's also point out, because I didn't even know this for months. I didn't even know it until like promotion time, I think, for Andrea. But she works too, right?
I work on Mondays, yeah.
Okay, so she has another job and she's still working her business. 2 babies? Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay. Do you have more babies I don't know about? So busy mom, busy life, working part-time. And so what does your 6 list look like?
I have add at least 30 people a day. For Instagram, it's supposed to be at least 100. But I definitely don't do that. I try to follow as many people as I can.
But she's killing it on Facebook. Let's just know, like, she's got one avenue down. So
I interact on both. I do make sure to do that. On stories, I go through the stories a couple times a day on both, and on both news feeds on Facebook and Instagram. Message and follow-ups, and then I have host to post for another, so I kind of have 7. I guess host to post could be considered message, but and then self-development is the last one.
Okay, so for host to post, how many people a day are you reaching out to? How many, like, what is your ideal during this promotion time? Or you're still going for promotion. So what does it look like as far as how many host to posts you want to have put up daily?
Probably at least 15. If I don't get anybody commenting on certain ones, I just keep messaging and asking for host to post and make it more than 15. Some of them you'll get, like, it'll blow up and you'll get a ton of comments and people interested, and then others you'll just get none. So I don't know. Most of the time it's like 1 in 4 that I sign, about 1 in 4, 1 in 3
That
that I can sign from host to post.
okay, so
Yeah.
people that are asking for or have asked for info or are interested, you send them the info, have a little conversation, and it's usually like 1 in 4 that sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of try to just aim with that, depending on how many I need and how much volume too. Like if it's for cleanse, like if am just doing cleanse host to post, I do a lot more of those because 36 is not very much. But like if I get a bunch of people interested in weight loss ones, I won't do as many.
Okay, that makes sense because it's just about what your volume is that you're working towards.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's go back to that kind of brought up another subject. So, the beginning of the month, I know you sat down or we sat down distance away, whatever, and we looked at like your volume, how much volume you were going to need. You calculated it and like looked at what the previous month was and kind of got your basic averages for each box and where you would need volume. So did that help you, like having an actual number instead of just being like, oh, I'm going to go ruby or oh, I'm going to go diamond or whatever, having that like figure to look at every single day and know like I have to get this number down to this number or I'm not going to get to promotion by the 30th or 31st. Did that like set something off in you too?
Yeah, I still am doing that. I actually write down all of my distributors' names at the beginning of the month, and like as the orders come through, like from the previous month, I add that on and make sure I know how much each person needs. And then when I sign customers and move them, or my teammates sign customers, I cross that off and make sure I have an exact number of the volume I need for those people. It makes it a lot easier for me.
Yeah. And you were on top of it and seeing that number, I feel like that's what we kind of need to see, like seeing an actual figure and seeing that number drop and you're like, okay, I'm down to this. And Andrea, for when you went from executive to Ruby, you needed, wasn't it like over 3,000 volume?
Um, what do you mean from executive to Emerald or to
Yeah.
Ruby?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. What was it? You have to remind me. I thought it was like,
Well, I went from right from
maybe it was 3,000 from Ruby to Emerald.
yeah, it was, I know it was over 3,000. It was like 3,900 or something like that.
Okay, so like almost 4,000 volume
Yeah.
from Ruby to Emerald. And I mean, under 30 days, basically, she did that, but she had that number. And I'm like, oh, that's a big number. Can you handle that number? And I knew she could, but getting it like fixed in her mind, this is what we're working towards. And she had new teammates coming in. So she was sitting with a basically brand new team, kind of, right? Like your team was fresh. So how did you start, like, how did you balance taking on this leadership role and, connecting with your team? Do you have a team chat? And how did you start working with them towards their goals of like getting to 400 or looking at who might be in a promotion spot? How did you like interact with them daily?
I basically just messaged each one individually. I got them started by making like a 30 list, and I helped them message every single person on their list. And then I had them just start host a post right from there to get their customers.
And I think that that's one of the reasons why, because like I said, like your whole team came in, they were very fresh. One of the reasons why you had such great energy and movement going within this new team, because you started out with something, showing them something that was super, super, super duplicatable. So they were coming in right off the bat and learning about host to post. So it wasn't like this like elephant in the room, like, how do I do this? It was like, this is what we do. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to help you with your conversations. I'm going to give you answers, responses, and getting them feeling confident pulling in, you know, their first customers that way, because it was just very easy to teach to each other. So I think that for me, like watching you guys from the outside, was a huge thing, seeing how you were teaching your new teammates to work doing simple things and making it so duplicatable so that they could then turn around and teach their new teammates the same things. It's kind of building that layered leadership right off the bat. 1 second. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so on a daily basis, you were messaging, post to post. Let's see, self-development. How important was the self-development during the month? Let's just touch on that, because it's promoting can be a very stressful time when you're looking at all these numbers and getting volume in the right places and getting teammates working and all of these things. Everything has to kind of fall into place. So how did that self-development thing go for you to keep you pumped? Because let's be honest, like there are times where you're like, holy crap, right?
Yeah. I pretty much watched other people's Zooms of them getting the $5,000 bonus, and that pretty much helped.
I love that.
It kept me excited and motivated to get that bonus, because I missed it. Actually, it was extended. I missed it at the end of, I don't even know what month it was, February. And I was pretty bummed about it. But then, even though I knew I wasn't going to get it then, I wasn't even charted for it. But then they extended it. So I don't know what the group's called. Oh, Exploding to Emerald. And everybody was sharing in there about them getting Emerald. So I went through and read a bunch of their posts, and then there were some Zooms of a few girls that got the bonus. So that helped.
So, okay, so that's kind of like part of what pushed you, but like for daily, I mean, because it's very easy. I know, like, even in my business, sometimes I start out the month and I'm like, boom, I'm doing this. I got my 6 list done. I've got all these things together, feel like I'm on track. And then sometimes I get a little slow or I get a little off track. So what does that look like? Like, how did you keep yourself going all month long towards that goal? Like, what in you was it that said, like, I'm going to push past? It's kind of like, I feel like it's like running a marathon. Like you run and you run and you run, and then you get to a point where like you step it up even more and you push yourself and you push past the burning in your legs and all these things, like, and you just push and push because you know the reward is going to be there. So how did you do that? Like, what was your drive for that? Was it?
I don't even know, because I didn't plan on getting Emerald at all until I decided at like the middle of the month. Hold on just a second. My daughter's freaking out. Come in. Here, you can come up here. Come here. Okay, so it wasn't until like the middle of the month. I don't even know if I like realized that I was boxed for Emerald. Like, it didn't click because I had my mind set on Ruby. Like, I had wanted to be Ruby for months. And then I just realized, like, I'm boxed for Emerald. I need this much volume. Like, I can get a $5,000 bonus. Mommy. So I just like kept that bonus in my mind, and I just every day just kept working and hosting a post and everything, to get that bonus.
So, and you were just communicating with your team, right? Like you kind of looked at your chart and looked at who was in places or in placement for promoting, and then you were really, really in close touch with those people, like constantly. Right?
Be quiet. Yeah. I did have, um, a couple people that were like really working. And then I had, others that were working but not working. So I kind of ran with the ones who were working a lot. And I'm like we need this much volume. Like you're going to promote to Ruby. You need this much volume. And then, yeah. And then just kept hosting posts and posting on Facebook, posting on Instagram, and basically just did that. Like I kept letting them know, like, you need this much volume, you need this much volume, this person needs that volume, and just did it that way.
And I know, like, sometimes, we always say, like, we're in this business because we don't want to be a boss. Obviously, none of us are anybody's boss, but definitely delegating, I think, and like explaining, because, and especially when people are new, like, nobody really understands, like, what is this going to do for me? Like, what is being at 400 going to do for my paycheck? What does executive like really look like? We don't really have any idea about that stuff. So you were just really like explaining things to your teammates, like kind of helping them plan out a path for, I think sometimes it's easy for us when people start to just be like, okay, go get your first couple customers. And sometimes people never push past that because they don't know if they could be anything more than that. They don't know what, running for executive would look like, or they don't put any like finite timeline or anything. And I think that that's the biggest mistake, honestly, because it's amazing to see what we're capable of as individuals or as a team when we actually push ourselves past that goal. So Andrea was like really, I guess, pulling out her teammates' potential. So like, if she had a teammate that was really working, like, doing all the things she was recommending to do, they were sending her screenshots and this and that. Then she was going to that next step and saying, okay, well, like, this is executive. You need 2 boxes here at 400. And then the biggest thing that we did, like we kind of touched on that earlier, was we focused solely on, or you focus solely on, so like, hold on one second. Okay, that's you. It's okay. Focusing solely on like bigger volume packages, because it is really hard to promote. If you start looking at the chart, like a ruby chart, an emerald chart, diamond chart, and you look at all these 400 boxes, it is really, really stinking hard to promote. One, if nobody's running an auto shipment. So that was like, there you go. One of the biggest things that we talk to teammates about is running an auto shipment. And it's not just for our benefit, but it's really hard for them to promote the products if they don't know how the products work. They haven't used the products. They have no clue about the products. So that is one of the reasons we do the auto shipment. But also, if you have all of your teammates on your chart, or at least like half of them running an 80 BV auto shipment, that is a huge chunk of volume that you guys don't have to run for. So it is super, 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 super helpful. It will also keep people interested in the business because they have like plugged themselves into it. So but then the other thing was that each of those 400 boxes is going to take a really freaking long time. If you're just selling, Fat Fighter, say it's $25, that's 16 loyal customers, you guys, 16 loyal customers and one 400 box if they're just ordering Fat Fighters. That's going to take a whole lot more effort than getting, 4 customers on a package and filling a 400 box. So you said you ran with your runners and worked super closely with them. And I think that staying connected with your team like that, like you do, because your team is amazing, like has an amazing connection. They're so active. They're so helpful to each other. They're excited. But I think that starts with you. I think that you're the reason that they kind of have engaged that way and kind of taken it on themselves like that to work with their teams like that. And I think that them wanting to not that they didn't want these promotions and don't want these promotions for themselves, but when you've built that connectivity with your team, like the people that you have signed under you, your teammates that are below your level, whatever, they want to push for their promotions just as much for themselves as they do for you. And your team really was like digging hard for you as much as they were for themselves. So I think that that is a huge, huge, huge thing with promotions. Like, yes, we can promote by ourselves. It's totally doable. But if you have a couple teammates that are going to gun it with you, like you had, Andrea, it shows you how much is really possible. Okay. The other thing I wanted to touch on too is just about like speaking it into existence, because Andrea, you're like a breath of fresh air all the time. Like I'd be I remember like during the month I'd be like, oh gosh, it's getting close, or like, what's going on, the volume over here, whatever. And I'd message her and I'm like, she handles pressure way better than I do. Like I lose my, like I just go crazy. And I'd message her and she's like, yeah, so I've got like, what was it? I think we were down to like 2,000 volume or something. And it was like only 5 or 6 days left or something. She's like, yeah, I need like 2,000 volume, but I'm going to get it. So it's in the bag. And I'm like, okay, we got this. You've got this. I trust you. You've got this. But it was really speaking it into existence, because I feel like that's what, like, speaking it and like you seeing it made you just drive harder for it, right? And you were posting, hold on.
I unmuted.
Okay. And this is the other part of that too, though. Like, I remember you were posting about it constantly, like that you were going Emerald on Facebook, right?
Yeah, I think in February, I think I remember posting a few times that I was going to get it, but I ended up not getting it, of course. But I don't think I really even like believed it. Maybe because I was so far away and I doubted myself a lot. But then when March started and I started reaching out to more people and started signing more people, I think I just got more excited. And then I just started saying it more, like, I'm going to get this $5,000 bonus. I'm signing people this month, actually. And like, I just got excited about it and started posting more about it. And like, I actually believed it, like that I was going to get it. And I never said like, I'm not going to get it, like, to myself. I just always said, I'm going to get this $5,000 bonus. And I just didn't stop from there. I just kept going.
And like you said, you said you started signing people, like, so, okay, so we're talking about, and I know like some of this is like actual stuff that she did to get to Emerald, and a lot of it is about kind of mindset stuff, because the mindset part is almost more important, but they can't live without the other one. Like, action is one thing and then mindset is another. And for Andrea, like she said, it was first like enrolling some more people, like more people than she was used to. Like, she enrolled a few customers and like a couple teammates. And then she was like, something that was like, wait a minute. So if I take these actions, like I'm taking these actions because I'm doing my 6 list, I'm doing like the things that, I know I'm supposed to be doing every single day to get consistent results, planting seeds, messaging people, whatever, post to post. So then she's enrolling some people. So it wasn't like she didn't enroll anybody and she was like, I'm going Emerald. Like, it was her actions that kind of switched her mindset into seeing like, wait a minute, if I did this, why can't I do this? Why can't I just do more of what I'm doing and get to this point? And I think that that is important to show, because it really was just like taking her actions and multiplying them. And then it flipped her mind. And she could see, because we can say all day long, like, I'm going to promote this month, I'm going to do this month, I'm going to sign more customers this month. But one, if you don't stay consistent and take the actual action to do it, eventually you're just gonna keep saying like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna promote this month, I'm gonna, it's going, whatever, but the action is never following. So then eventually you stop believing it. Like, you might still be telling yourself that because you want to believe it, but the action's not following it. So it's really easy to get like discouraged and not believe that you could get to that point. So it hopefully that helps. I think that the mindset thing is huge, and not talking like negative self-talk, right, Andrea? Like you said, you didn't say any, you weren't like, I'm not going to get this, I'm not going to get this. You were like,
Yeah. And I think also, I actually like started telling my team, like, I'm going to get this bonus. Like, you're going to promote this month. You're going to promote this month because I'm promoting. So,
I think that built the confidence in them, right? Because they were like, wait a minute, she thinks she's telling me that I'm going to promote. Like, and I know that sounds kind of crazy or kind of weird to tell your teammates that, but I think it helped them because it's like, it's almost like we need somebody to like give us that little gentle push, like, hey, no, you're going to promote this month. And it's like that momentum kicks in and they're like, wait a minute, I could actually promote. Okay, what do I need? And you've got people guiding you already. You know what to do. You know how to get volume. You know you need customers, sign higher volume customers, and then just do more of it. So yeah, so you're telling people like, this is what we're doing, and you had a whole plan of attack for it, which is super important, because otherwise people just kind of drop off and they don't know what to do, they don't know where they're going. Let's see, anything else that you did specifically for your own business that you think helped with enrolling people, or any of that stuff?
I think for enrolling, it was just reaching out more because I wasn't doing that. Staying a little more organized with writing all my distributors down in volume, that helped. And I kept my chart in front of me every single day. Like, I never put it away. That helped too. Because when I'd see it, I'm like, I need to do this. Like, every time I seen it, I'm like, I need to do something. Like, I need to be doing something.
Yeah, no, exactly, because it's so easy. I mean, you could go 6 months of the year without your chart in front of you and just be like, then one day you're like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I don't have any idea what I'm working towards exactly. I know I'm supposed to be doing my steps to success. I know I'm supposed to enroll a customer or whatever. But like, without having your chart, there's no way to promote. There's no way to grow your paycheck substantially if you do not have your chart out in front of you and you are not actively, reaching out to people, enrolling people, placing people. And you placed customers, right? Because I know there's a lot of like, sometimes when people are newer in the business, they don't understand why we would place customers under somebody else or whatever. But you placed customers to promote, right?
Yes, I placed all of my customers except for the 4 that I needed to keep for the Emerald bonus.
Okay. And I mean, honestly, I would say at least 95% of the leaders in the company, top leaders, all of the leaders, really. I mean, there are a select few that would disagree, but the majority of people say you place to promote. And it's because, there's never going to be a time where every single teammate you've ever signed is working. There's always going to be there will always be teammates that drop out. You'll have those people that sign up and just vanish before they even get started, or you might have some people that are kind of working more part-time, whatever, and you need 200 volume in that spot. So yeah, I mean, like Andrea said, she was placing all of her customers in her chart, because ultimately, I think the best way to think about it like this is, because I know in the beginning I was like, I'm not going to place my customer over there. They don't deserve it. They're not grateful. Like, I worked so hard for this person. I talked to this person for like a year. What the heck? And they were just like, ignored me when I told them I moved the customer over there, whatever. And I let it get to me, and I would just be all bummed out, like irritated, whatever. And then I realized one day, I was like, okay, yes, I work this business for my team. yes, I do this for my team. I want my team to grow with me, and I want their paychecks to grow, and I want them to promote, and I want all of these things for them because I care about my team. And we, can't do it without, we can't go further without our team going further. But ultimately, like, my paycheck is what pays my bills. My paycheck is what, does everything for us. So if I want to have the kind of paycheck that I have to be responsible for getting it, not necessarily my team. Like, it's my duty to grow my paycheck. And if putting my customers in my chart, because it's my chart, like that's my egg, that's my income. If placing my customers is going to get me there, then that's what I'm going to do to get me there. And as I go, I know that if I'm signing distributors, I will find new people that are bringing in new people. So it's not an issue in any way. It's a beautiful thing when you see your chart. You have a couple teammates working, they're helping to place, customers in certain spots. And that's how it all fell together with Andrea. And that's how honestly, every single promotion ever, maybe other than like one or two here and there, like the majority of the promotions ever on my team in the last 4 years happened when people were working together, kind of delegating boxes on the chart and then placing customers. So really, like, it couldn't have gone any more beautiful than it did for you, for Emerald. But let's see, what else do we have to talk about? Does anybody have any questions for Andrea too? Because there is a chat here. So if you have any specific questions, you can put them over there. Let's see. So staying organized, you're really organized, you knew your numbers, and then you just kind of went off what like you said, if I'm not seeing some kind of result coming in, you were just making sure to take more action that day to get in a customer or to get 100 volume or to get somebody fast start qualified that you had signed, right? Okay, so let's see. I guess nobody has any questions for Andrea. She's not really like making herself out to seem not as crazy good as she is, and I'm telling you, this girl like has no excuses. I believe she'll be diamond this month, so she's pushing for that. Let's see. Did I have any other questions for you? The other thing too, I guess I would say is that, like when we talked about how you were promoting, or you were talking about how you're going to promote to Emerald. You were talking about your goals all month long. Like, I'm going to be Emerald. I can't wait, blah, blah, like all of that stuff. So, do you think that the excitement that you were pouring out really helped with your team and their excitement, and then any potentials that you had? You're muted.
Yeah, I think that helped a lot. It was more of like when I talked to my team about like them getting promotions, and I think that got them a little more excited too, to work harder and yeah.
And that kind of just goes back to like what you remember from your first 30 days. Like, you were a little discouraged, you were afraid, maybe I can't do this, whatever. And I think that just hearing from somebody else, like that they believe in you or whatever, or this is what's possible, it has so much weight to it. And we sometimes forget. And does that work for everybody? Like, it doesn't. Some people are not going to see the vision that we see. Maybe it's not meant for them, but for a lot of people, it really is just having that extra guidance and support and push in all of that. So let's see. So as far as volume, because I know, okay, so like last thing, so you're looking at your chart, say you're looking at promoting, we're already like a week into this month. And you're looking at that overwhelming volume. What is your biggest tip for conquering that volume?
I didn't hear what you said.
What is your biggest tip for like, okay, so you're looking at promoting, maybe you're promoting to Ruby or Emerald, whatever. You're looking at it for the month and you've got this big number in front of you. What would be your biggest tip for how to like conquer that volume? Like how to attack that volume and like wrap your mind around it to get into action? Like what is the biggest tip you have for that?
Uh,
It can be something simple, just, just like massive action, probably.
yeah, probably. And keeping that chart in front of you and those numbers in front of you.
Yeah.
Because that really helped me a lot.
Just having your goals out in front of you and writing them down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I always have mine wrote down and in front of me.
Okay. Awesome. And then host to post, obviously, because that was like that skyrocketed your volume. So, let's see. Did you do contests with your team? Like anything fun to kind of like push them along?
Yeah, I don't even know what it's called, but it's a board with like the sticky notes, and I put like a prize underneath. Like it would be like simple prizes, like a planner and things. And to get to choose a number, they would either run an auto shipment, get in the 400 club, and there was one other thing. I can't remember what it was. But there were 3 different things, 3 different ways to like choose a number.
It's that. Okay, so
and they got to pick a number and go ahead.
Okay, so that was the sticky note contest or whatever they're called. Okay, so awesome. So I guess I would just say for me, I think for anyone like on the Zoom that's watching this and trying to figure out how to get their team engaged and all of that stuff, I would say I think one of the biggest things is really leading by example, like your consistency, your excitement. Like I know every time I would go to Andrea's page, she got me fired up because I'm like, she's talking about promotion, she's excited, like everything was always positive. And I could see that belief behind her posts. And I think that really helped because when we're putting posts up and we don't really believe in ourselves, it's hard because I think people can see that too. So once you kind of have that mind shift and that belief in yourself, I think that's when things really spring to life. I think that was part of what boosted you too, is that all of a sudden you started to have that little bit of belief and it just grew and grew and grew. So, I think that's all I have question wise for you. I'm just so proud of you and I wanted to get you on here because, I think you're way more amazing than you even realize. And her leadership has grown so much too. Like, I know that she's taking care of her team. She's doing an awesome job with it. Like, she's just rocked it. So, thank you so much for sharing everything with us. And I can't wait.
I did have another thing.
Yeah, go.
I actually got it from another Zoom. I don't remember who it was, but she was one that got the $5,000 bonus. For host to post, if they didn't sign right away, like that day, I wouldn't wait a week to follow up with them. I would message them like the very next day. That's the tip I took from another girl, because a lot of times I find like if I wait a week, they change their mind. Like,
yeah,
they'll tell me yes, even if they give me a date. A lot of times they'll change their mind about ordering.
I think that's super spot on too, because I've noticed that too when people give me dates for host to post. A lot of times it's a lot harder for me to track them down. Like I feel like they almost like lose their initial excitement or something. So I think that's a really good tip because, and plus when you're promoting, we need that volume fast. So I feel like there's nothing wrong with following up the very next day. Actually, I try to follow up with people all the time, like the very next day. And then I'll do a couple days or a few days later. But like first interaction, and then I'll follow up like 24 hours later. So that's a great tip too. I guess that's it, guys. That was fun. But I'm super excited to see promotions this month. And here's the thing, like it's what, the 8th today? Is that the 8th? So we've got a huge amount of the month left, and you know, anything is possible. And I think it's just all about mindset. Like you can do, and Andrea was doing literally like everything. If she needed volume, she was like thinking about every person she could reach out to, you know, family members, friends, people, anyone she was connected with, she was reaching out to, and just making it happen, looking at that goal and just getting that number down. And every time she got that number down, she got more excited and harder. So thank you so much, Andrea, for joining in and letting us pick your brain. And we're excited to congratulate you to your next promotion when that happens, because I know it's going to happen. I'm super excited. So I guess that's it, guys. If nobody has any questions, we'll close it out. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye, guys.